She's going to give me a little celebration party. fixing to grab whatever file or whatever. If it wraps up when we get back, you can grab at least 1 or 2 people and kind of get reactions of him being here and everything.
Very, very. Well, there's also somebody. Yeah, he was sitting at the table with us. Yeah, and it was the one where she kept chastising people for not signing up, and I'm like, they're here. Be nice, you know. Just say we welcome you, and please next time sign up earlier. No, thanks. I was just like shrinking in my seat. Like, I know. I was looking at Gina like, oh, sorry, but it doesn't need to be said. Good. I'm sorry. I even brought it up. It's one of those times when you thought, did their mom teach them what my mom taught me? We need to do this mom thing all over again. But no, I just want to get touch base because I'm not taking it by anybody's word. I speak on my language. Gina would never. Some things people just like, oh, I'm not going to do that. And then if you don't have it written down, you look like you just took advantage of a friendship.
Go the other way. I said you always go the other way. We were just sort of
Just let it see Michelle has in the bag. If not, I can advance the slides.
It's going to try to find you right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome everybody to the Rotary Club of Greenville. I hate to end our social part because I know it's a big part of Rotary, but we've got a full agenda today. So at this time, I'm going to call up Fatima Gonzalez to kick off with our invocation and pledge.
Well, thank you, everyone. It's such an honor to do that for all of you today. Please stand up and join me. Please join me as we thank God for our gathering today. We are giving thanks. We are so thankful for sharing this meal with each other. We are so thankful for the opportunity to be the servant leaders who positively impact our communities and our city. We ask you, God, that you help us, that you guide us as we thrive to make the place a better place. And we ask you, as you please, bless us in our efforts, that you bless our communities, you bless our city and our country. Amen. Please join me now for honoring our flag. Of the United States of America. Thank you. Enjoy the meeting.
Good afternoon. I'd like to welcome all guests and visiting Rotarians at this time. Carson Fox, with a guest of the club. If you would just stand when I call your name, and then you can sit down. Rhonda Thompson, a guest of Fatima Gosla. Julie Franklin, a guest of Susie Nelson. Mark Sanford, a guest of Fabian. Henry Horowitz, a guest of Fabian. Kritika Ravenschunder, a guest of Marnie Schwartz-Hanley. And also another guest of Marnie is Sari Barnes. Dorothy Dow, a guest of Caroline Stewart. Barry Ledger, a guest of Ramona Farrell. Dave Ropes, a guest of Rob Rowan. Catherine Kristenek, a guest of Connie Lansel. Gina Bloom, a guest of Bob Morris. Anna Smith, a guest of Jim Parham. Blake Page, a guest of Jim Parr, and also his guest is Maggie Bradley. And then welcome to a visiting Rotarian, Michael Forsyth with City Center. Thank you, everyone.
It is not often that we have a former governor of South Carolina join us today, but so we have. We're pleased to have former Governor Mark Sanford with us, and I know we have a full agenda, and it's dangerous to offer a minute of a microphone to a politician. But Mark, if you'd like to tell us what you're up to and maybe what the future holds for you.
Thank you. I will be exceedingly brief, but I appreciate the microphone for a second. It's a treat to be back. You know, I was here when I got elected governor. My first Rotary Club talk was actually right here, however many years ago that was. It's been a while. But I don't know what I'm doing next. What I've said is over the next 30 days, I'm going to give it a hard look as to whether I start an advocacy group to focus on debt, deficit, and government spending, or I run for president to focus on debt, deficit, government spending. Because here's what I know. Whether you're a Republican or Democrat, we have got to have a national conversation on where we go next on those three fronts. Because it is my submission to every one of you all that we are walking our way toward the most predictable financial crisis in the history of man. And I've had a lot of time since I got out of office in January to look at the numbers, and they are absolutely compelling. I would beg of every one of you, on behalf of your kids or behalf of your grandkids or behalf of your own savings account or retirement account, to look at the numbers and to say, how might we have a conversation as Americans around the kitchen table, around the water cooler at the office, on where we go next on this front. I'll leave you with one data point and call it quits. Think about this. The fastest area of growing expenditure in the federal government that you and I own is in interest costs. It will more than triple over the next 10 years, and that's if rates stay low. We will spend more on children, all federal programs combined, on children next year than we do on interest. That's next year. In 3 years, we will spend less on national defense than we do on interest. In 5 years, we will spend less on domestic discretionary, and that's what Republicans and Democrats go to Congress to debate every year, than we will on interest. I could give you a lot of different facts and figures, but we are getting to a tipping point, and in some form or some fashion, we need to force a national conversation on this front. Thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Since he brought up debt, deficit, and spending, I'm going to use this as a time to talk about Camp the Falls. That is our biggest fundraiser. We have 6.5 weeks until Camp the Falls. There's still a lot of needs. We really need sponsorships. You can see Dolly for that. We need raffle ticket sales. See Caroline for that. Is Lindsay here? Lindsay Sink needs solid auction items, and then we just need volunteers. So make sure you stop by the table on your way out. This time I'd like to call up our new members. We have 3 new members we'd like to introduce today. So our first new member is Pam Alexander Powell. A little bit about Pam. She grew up in Charleston, graduated from St. Andrews Parish, where Gary Caldwell went to high school, and attended Clemson University, where she met the greatest all-around guy. Pam loves school and loves learning, so during her senior year, her political science professor and advisor said, if you really want to make a difference in the world, you'll become a teacher and help others love to learn as much as you do. So she graduated with her degree in political science, continued on, got a degree in secondary education, and later on got her master's in secondary administration. She's been teaching high school social studies for the past 30 years at Malden High School. Pam is the mother of two wonderful boys. Alexander is 23 years old, works for the Charlotte Hornets. Carter is 21 and is a pre-med student at Kenyon College. They are wonderful thanks to her discipline and support. We always ask people, why did you join Rotary? And Pam was the one, when I would come home, would have a Rotary magazine, and she'd read the thing from cover to cover, and I would say, we need to do this. And she'd say, if you read your Rotary magazine, there was something in there about that. So she really became, through knowing about our work and reading about Rotary, she really became a big fan of Rotary. And thanks to our family membership plan, she was joining the Rotary even though she starts school soon and will not be able to attend most of our meetings. So welcome, Pam. We also have Laura McCulloch. Laura has lived in Greenville all her life. She's worked for Spinks for the last 17 years, where she manages retail properties and other duties surrounding real estate holdings. She has been married to Todd for 12 years. They have one daughter, Cassie, who is 11. She has 2 dogs, a cat, and a fish also. Her hobbies are hiking and scuba diving when possible. Why Rotary? Well, her dad, who just celebrated his 90th birthday, Bill Raines, has been a Rotarian for over 60 years, and he's encouraged her to join in the past, and she's felt like this was the right time because she wants to give back to the community and be a part of real change, and Rotary gives her the opportunity to help others, so welcome. And we have Lauren Weaver. Lauren is Executive Director of the Greenville Area Parkinson's Society. She's been married to Glenn for 26 years and has 4 grown children, ages 21, 22, 21, 19, 17, and probably most exciting is she has her first grandchild due in October. Yay! When asked why she joined Rotary, she says always seeking ways to become more connected, especially with organizations that serve a service mission. She was part of the business sector for most of her career and now is part of the nonprofit world. By becoming part of Rotary, she can continue collaborative efforts to bridge those two valuable parts of our community while also meeting new people who also see the serve the need. So let's welcome all 3 of our new members. Thank you.
First, I want to congratulate you as a club on the fact that we sustained and moderately grew our membership over this past year. You deserve a round of applause. We accomplished that because many of you brought high-quality potential Rotarians to our Discover Rotary sessions where we told the Rotary story, and you know what? Over half of the people who attended Discover Rotary session decide they want to be part of Rotary now. Some of them later on. So we've got a great product here. How many products do you know that somebody looks at it, takes a close look at it, and 50% of the people buy it? What we need to do is we need to find more people that are interested in that. We, like most membership organizations, we lose members every year, a lot of them for reasons we can't control. And the fact is we lose members at exactly the rate of the average U.S. trade association. So we're just, right in the zone. That means we have to have a method of continuing to attract interested, like-minded people to Rotary that want to be part of this. I've learned over time that Rotary has become, over 4 cities and 40 years, my single highest value network, and it is about the membership. We're a membership organization, and that's where the value proposition is. The value in Rotary is the other people around the table and the way they help each other when asked, and it's been a huge value to myself, my family, and also to my business. So we're continuing to offer Discover Rotary sessions. We're now offering 2 a month. One is at 5:30 on the 3rd Tuesday. One is at 11 o'clock on the 4th Tuesday. And I'd invite you to pick up one of the Discover Rotary cards on your table. Just put it in your pocket. And what you find on there is the upcoming dates and times of Discover Rotary. I'm asking you simply to find someone who you think would be a good candidate, figure out the date and time they want to come, circle that, leave the card with them, and then just let us know who that is, email address, name, and phone number, and we'll expect them at an upcoming Discover Rotary session. We need to keep that flow of new members coming because that is the way we sustain this club. That's the way we're able to take on new projects such as Camp Falls, such as Alexander Elementary School. Membership is absolutely pivotal to our success. Thank you.
Hi, how's everybody doing? I'm short, and my name is Amy Randall. This is Teresa Miller.
Hello.
We are your new PR committee, and we would love for some help. But we both been members for about a year, and we would really love your help getting the word out about our club. Like Terry was just saying, we want to grow. A lot of folks in the world don't know about Rotary and all the awesome things that we're doing. I will be taking pictures for the club this month. We will be sharing more on social media, and would really love you all to share on your personal pages. A lot of times nonprofit and business pages don't really get out to the world, so we need your help getting us out into the world. And Teresa is going to tell you a little bit more about what a club mixer is.
Well, we're excited about this year in Rotary, and we want you to be excited too. We've got so many new exciting things to get connected, ways to get connected, either by volunteering, or we've got some great new networking opportunities. We've got Health and Happiness, which is a great new way to network and have fun and be social with each other. We've got Living Room Conversations, a new great way to network and connect inside the community. And today we are kicking off another new networking opportunity. Fatima, where are you? Fatima will be leading our new professional networking group, which will meet today after the meeting. So if you have questions about the group or you want to get involved, see her after the meeting. So that brings another point, Club Mixer. We have about 260 members in our club, and I can make the assumption that we all do not know each other. So today we're going to make a new friend. So I would like everyone just to think for a minute about something that you haven't done in your life that you want to do. And I want you to look around the room for a face that you don't know. And when you find a face that you don't know, I want everyone to stand up. This is going to be quick. Stand up. This can't be someone at your table. Find someone you don't know. Go up, introduce your name, your business, answer the question, and then return back to your seat. Well, I'm going to go introduce myself.
Yes. I'm also on the AV committee. And can we
See, now we don't want to go back to our seats.
Test. I'll make sure this is turned on. Yeah. You want to stay this in your pocket? And then
Test. Is it on? Here, how do we put our thing on? How do we? Okay, that's the second slide. Okay, how do I turn this on?
I'm Rob Earl, and I have the great honor to introduce our speakers today.
Test that.
We have two amazing local people who are on the way
I'll try
to
it.
what's new with journalism. And you know, it's been a challenge for many newspapers. A little background, I met Mark in 2003. We put on a recital art festival in the Greenville district, and Greenville was one of our lead sponsors. And for being a friendship with him, I was coming here regularly for every month to put this on and got to meet Mark. I got to pay him back for his help by sending him on a trip to Central Command military patrol, a civilian leader thing, in which he has a great story of how kind of petty about it. It'd be kind of fun. But anyway, Mark has been in the journalism business since 1982 in Kansas City. He's worked in St. Louis, among other places, before he came to work for that other paper in the city, which we won't mention at the moment. In 1999, he began the creation of the Greenville Journal. And from that, he's spread into other things, the Town magazine, which everybody, Upscale Lifestyle magazine, a couple other, the Upstate Business. So he's been basically setting new parameters for how to reach people. And of course, along the lines, with all his work in that, his son, Ryan, stepped right in the same world. Ryan's background was he went to school, Clemson. I don't know if anyone ever heard of it, but they play football there, right? And then he worked in real estate, which is interesting because if you've all been to West Greenville and seen the amazing things that have happened in West Greenville, Ryan and Mark have been in the forefront of that. And maybe we'll have a conversation about it. We should get it back another time. It's a great story there. But Ryan is the head of the 6 a.m. city project, that he's going to be talking about, his part, which you all know Greenville today. And he has been another pioneer. So I don't want to talk anymore. I want to just say these are amazing people that we got a chance to speak. We actually have some TV coverage for this event, so that'll show you something that we've done. And I'm excited to have them come. Mark and Mark Johnson.
Good. Thank you. Test. We're going to try to turn this on. Test. Well, it doesn't sound like my mic's working, so I'm going to talk from this podium. You know, I do want to talk a little bit about the Greenville News. Today's state and this new state of the newspaper industry, and it is a tough one. Media, not just newspapers, but media in general, with the advent of social media, is probably one of the most disruptive segments in business that you can think of. And, you know, I have very, very fond memories of my time working with the Greenville News. At the time I came down here, Multimedia owned that company and had an opportunity to work with some fantastic people. But Gannett came in, they closed on that property in December of 1995, and my life changed, my life of my family changed. They were going to push us out of Greenville. We wanted to stay here. At the time, we had 4 little boys, and try to figure out what to do. You couldn't just walk across the street and go to work for the other daily newspaper. So responded to advertisers' needs, and this is 20 years ago to reference this time frame. So we started looking at data, and the advertisers were saying, look, we need a more targeted audience. Advertising is expensive. It's one of our biggest bottom line expenses, and we can't afford any waste. And the readers were saying we want more local news and information. You know, shortly before that, This Daily down here combined their newspapers. They They killed the evening newspaper. Some of you might remember the Piedmont, which was a local newspaper, combined it in the Greenville News. They did the same thing in Kansas City while I was there. They killed the Kansas City Star, which was a local newspaper, and combined it to the morning newspaper. And almost to the market, it was the wrong move. 25 years ago, but hindsight's 20/20. So we looked at these two items and said, okay, more local news and information, and can we target the base that the advertisers want? Well, that's an expensive proposition. One of the reasons you don't see a whole lot of local news and information in the daily newspaper these days, for a variety of reasons, it's expensive. And we thought, our advertisers pay our rates to if we deliver this target market. And fortunately, over the last 20 years, they certainly have. And before I go any further, we have quite a few of our very best customers and friends in the audience today. And to all of you, I want to thank you for supporting us. We are 100% supported by local advertisers. And if it weren't for all of you, we wouldn't have a company. So let's talk about the company and how it's changed dramatically. We started with one newspaper in 1999, which was the you can keep it there, was the Greenville Journal. What we do is we started with 30,000 targeted home delivery targeted distribution. To put that into perspective, today we have more targeted home distribution than the Sunday daily newspaper has. It's changed that much. So, that's quite an accomplishment, but if it was the Greenville Journal alone, we couldn't sustain it. There's not enough advertising in this market to sustain what is required to publish that newspaper every single week. So our product portfolio now exists of course, the Greenville Journal, delivered every Thursday night to 30-plus thousand households in Greenville County. To put that in perspective, the average circulation of a weekly newspaper in South Carolina is a little bit less than 4,000. So we are considered a weekly newspaper, but more definitive description is that we are a metro community weekly, that we just dropped right down on top of a metro market. And fortunately for us, and I think for Greenville, it was a perfect market for us. It wasn't too big, it wasn't too small. We've been able, we feel, that have a community impact. But again, like I said, we couldn't have sustained the company on everything, all the resources that were required to publish this weekly. So right after that, we launched At Home Magazine a couple times a year. That's evolved in a quarterly publication. It's been very, very successful for us. And then UBJ, when Ryan came back from Charlotte and the business community was growing in Greenville, they needed a vehicle to advertise in. Thank you. So we launched the Upstate Business Journal. I think that was about 5 years ago. And then right after that, Town Magazine. We just celebrated our 100th issue of Town Magazine. It was, we have a very, very talented team producing this magazine. We sell the advertising, but these guys produce one of the finest lifestyle magazines in the country, no bones about it. So, even with this product portfolio, we publish 52 Greenville Journals, 26 UBJs, 12 Town Magazines, and 4 at-home magazines. It's just not enough. It's just not enough in today's changing media environment to float the boat. So, what we have got, we are basically publishers. We're at our core a marketing company that publishes these products to deliver audiences that our advertisers need to be talking to. Well, and we do that through the product portfolio I just showed you, but we also do this through our custom publications. And most of you in this room might receive the Journal or Town Magazine or At Home or UBJ, but you might not be aware of this part of our business, and it is growing and it is significant. Obviously, the same talented group of professionals that produce the products that you do see produce these. Yeah, Greenville. great, fantastic relationship with the folks over at That Greenville. We just produced our third visitor's guide for that team. We're preparing for the next one in 2020, and this publication was presented to all the national visitors guides in the country and took first place. So part of that was us, but if you know the folks over at Greenville, they're a pretty creative bunch. But that's really, really good work for us, and we really enjoy these type of products. Cliffs Magazine. This product was produced out of California for years and years and years. We've really wanted to secure that into our stable of products. And today, I should have brought one to show you. This was the first one. The second one arrived off the press today for the Cliffs publication. So again, if you've never seen this, fantastic publication, great team behind it. We also do custom publications for advertisers. The gallery that was done, that was Joan Herlong's piece. It's totally custom with her properties, and even back to a piece we did for a small job we did for the Greenville Chamber. So these products, coupled with everything else we do, is pretty much been feeding community journals. But then again, it's still not enough. Our advertisers are telling us, and they hear it from their marketing team, and they read it in the trade press, what is your digital strategy? What is your digital strategy? Well, I'm producing all this. I'm putting it in the market for no charge. We're putting it online and really not selling that much digital advertising to it to support these products. What's your digital strategy? Talk to us about social media. How does the story migrate online? Well, traditionally what newspapers have done, they've taken the stories that they produce in the newspaper and just push them online. Well, that doesn't work because people don't read stories online the same way that they do on a printed page. However, so we had to get good at that and also be very good at the print publications that we put out, because you probably heard that print's dying. It's not if you do it this way, but it's still a challenge because, again, since we go to a targeted demo, there's a whole lot of households in Greenville County that don't get our products. There's almost 200,000 households in Greenville County, and we've targeted the 30,000 that appreciate the products and will consume the products that we put out. But we're producing all this content. So what do? So we do have attendant digital products on each one of our brands. Well, between the Greenville Journal has a website and a weekly email. Town Magazine has a website and a monthly email. At Home Magazine has a monthly email. Upstate Business Journal has an email and a website. It's just a lot. But that's what I do at community journals. But it still wasn't enough. Where are we going as a company with the changing dynamics of the media business going forward? And that's where Ryan came in. Ryan at that time was with me creating Town. He was with me creating the events that we have produced in this market, and was with me when we put Upstate Business Journal together. But when he presented the idea for 6 a.m. City, that was 3.5 years ago. That's when we jumped into a product that is a regional product that gives us an opportunity to communicate with regional advertisers other than just what we can do in Greenville, South Carolina. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, and he'll talk to you about the fun stuff that's going on. Ryan?
Thank you. Well, yeah, we launched GBL today 3 years ago, and as my father clearly mentioned, that each and every product that Community Journals has created over the last 20 years was advertiser and reader driven. Community Journals, between the portfolio products, the fact that it's 100% locally owned, the fact that our sales team's out in the market at lunches, shaking hands, talking to people, learning about business opportunities and leads, or about challenges in the community, we had so many scoops. And when I was running the Upstate Business Journal for the 4 or 5 years that we started it, I'm very competitive, and we would have these scoops. We'd get them up online, but our print distribution was our strong asset, and we didn't have a huge digital social media following. So we just had to hope that people would go to our website to find out that this massive new headquarters location was coming to Main Street. So what we really needed to do is we needed a email We looked at a lot of the trends in national media. The skim, which I don't know if you're familiar with, really changed the way that information was presented. They did it in a habitual way at a certain time. And it was meant that instead of traditional journalism, which kind of talks at an audience, they talked with their audience. They really respected their intellect. They kind of broke it down and answered the questions that everyone always has. And they didn't really approach the content, again, the way that traditional newspapers or even television stations or whatever, well, they were doing it on a national level. And so we said, okay, well, between our lifestyle content, our business content, our community content, our home content, why don't we have a daily email? And if we have some of the leading scoops in the market, they'll earn their way in there if they're the best. And the customer, the client, the reader doesn't care who it came from. They just want to discover it so that if it is of interest to them, they now are aware and they can dive deeper. So what we did was, literally one of the investors at Community Journals was in the meeting, and he goes, "Oh, wait a minute, there's a Greenville News article in here." And it was like, yeah, that's exactly right. It's a really good article. And what we have found through having that collaborate, not compete type of approach, that we believe that we're actually helping increase the awareness of great content that's being created by not only newspapers or local bloggers or the Rotary. I'm sure now that content is so important, and organizations are not just creating display advertising or just sending and getting pitched specific pitches from a PR agency. There's so many people that are creating content, all the way down to my mom who might grab a great picture at Artisphere. We now can, we describe our value proposition as we aggregate, curate, and narrate the content of the community. Mark Sanford specifically wrote a Voices piece trying to promote why he thought that the Tri-County Waterfront Park was a great addition to Charleston or the Tri-County area. And he was able to do it in a more casual voice, because that's the way that our audience is used to receiving our product. So the way that relates back to the advertiser demand is that advertisers are able to now work with us in non-traditional ways to utilize our brand to really engage and connect with the local audience. For example, we worked with the Goodwill, and to promote the fact that they have great clothes at the Goodwill, we had our producers dress up, one from the Goodwill and one in normal clothes, and we asked our audience across our different platforms which ones wearing Goodwill clothes. We came back and produced the results, and it proved the point. Instead of a display ad saying Goodwill has great clothes, everyone was like, man, they do have good clothes, you know? So we're able to do some really unique things. Back to, real quick, this is the one slide that we always use. These are the folks doing what we are doing very well on a national stage. We are now in 6 different cities. We've spent the last 6 months raising funds and getting ready and really tightening up our business model. And we have, our plan is to be in 10 more cities by the end of next year, which will bring our footprint to 16 cities. Again, we can do that because we've tried to really change the way of what we actually are. We are all about educating and activating the community, creating a safe place for people to participate and to get excited and provide solutions around growing cities. So we're 2 things that we're not ashamed of is that we're pro-growth. Cities are either growing or they're dying, so we provide an environment for people to create solutions and ideas around how we can confront these challenges. And we celebrate diversity of thought. So we stay out of politics, we stay out of crime and punishment, but we really try to highlight and make people aware of things that might be out of their comfort zone. We intentionally do not create personalization. So if you don't like sports news, we don't allow you to not know what's going on with the Clemson Tigers, or if we really think that stronger communities are made for people kind of getting outside their comfort zone, and the only way you can do that is what truly is going on. So we put the traditional model upside down, and we said that if you look at the challenges of scaling local media, you have high content creation costs, high distribution costs, and that really makes it's hard on your margins. It's hard on making sure that the editorial consistency is right, and then the packaging and presentation of that content is diverse enough to appeal to a wide range of readers. So again, our primary goals are to educate and activate the communities. You will see this is the trajectory of basically what it takes for us to mature a market. And what else did I have for you all today? We had, so I think that's it.
What markets are you in?
What markets we're looking for? We are looking to go at, we've traditionally stayed in these smaller markets that are high pride in place, high rate of growth. Those are currently, we're in Greenville, Charleston, Columbia, Lakeland, Florida. Actually, their economic development group recruited us there because they saw that if you really wanted to retain and attract talent, they got to know how great their city is and how they can be involved. And if you want to encourage the next bakery to open up, people need to know about that bakery is open. Or if you need to know that we need a stronger representation on our design review board, well, people need to know how the design review board even works and when the next seat's coming available. So that's kind of where we believe in the activating part. Now we're looking next year to go, again, kind of regionally, and we're probably going to test our largest market maybe with like a Raleigh, which is interesting to us because we don't know if you go to these bigger cities if there's actually a less or a lower amount of interest in some of these issues. The last thing that I think that's really important to mention is we believe that these cities that all are high growth, that are experiencing these same challenges. I mean, everyone in Greenville has seen, or we've seen on our comments, well, when are they going to put a moratorium on downtown hotels, or what's going on here? We're able to show what Charleston's considering. Not saying that that's right or that it's wrong, but this is a way that they're addressing concerns around the peninsula on hotel development. Or if in Chattanooga, they did a specific thing to activate the riverfront park. Well, Columbia is trying to figure that out as well. So as we have these conversations around business improvement districts or whatever it might be, we're also seeing the value of being able to share those same ways that we're approaching those conversations and then kind of crowdsource solutions to what we hope to make is a very different, higher participating and larger engaged audience, which is, oh, I remember what it was. The largest amount, this is the one thing that shocks, whether it's an advertising pitch or anyone, is that our largest readership base, hands down, of our demographics is at 41% of our readers is 55 plus. And most people assume this is a very strong millennial read product. It is produced for the most part by younger people, but it is very, obviously the highest consumption is at 41% is over the age of 55, and the second part of that demo is at 35%, which is above 35 to 55. So kind of cool. It is 75% female, but it starts skewing much more male. The more senior in the age. That's all. We did mention the Village of West Greenville. We relocated our company to the Village of West Greenville maybe 3.5 years ago. For those of you that haven't been out there in a while, back 3.5 years ago, I'd say 50% of that neighborhood, the commercial corridor, was boarded up, and we saw an opportunity for free parking and we were touring around and saw a lot of the cover of town or UBJ that had these makers and artists on the cover, and we saw an opportunity to do something a little different that we hadn't been able to accomplish yet, which was to really use the power of the press to highlight, some of these local, all 100% local artists, entrepreneurs, restaurateurs, and we haven't been ashamed about that. One of the things that's so critical and is the underlying message between both community journals and 6 a.m. is that communication is a vital. You look at the definition in the dictionary, and it says under infrastructure, and it says that, the necessary items, telecom, transportation, communication, and so there's probably a reason that the Peace Center, which when the Greenville News was owned, by the Peace family, they were highlighting how great the Peace Center was and how important that was for Greenville. So we do believe that both over the past 20 years and all the work of community journals, and now what we're doing with our product, that we are contributing a great deal of making sure people are aware of what's going on, and we've done that of recent in the Village of West Greenville. So before I put down the mic, I would ask you two things. If you don't currently sign, if you're not one of our 55,000 readers that get Greenville Today every morning, I would love it if you would go sign up, or at least try it out. You can unsubscribe after a day if you'd like. And then second, if you haven't been down to the Village of West Greenville lately, go down there, spend some money, make sure that those businesses can continue to grow and thrive. So thank you.
Thanks so much, Mark and Ryan, for being with us today and sharing your story. Bob Howard cannot be here today, but he asked me to pass on some bittersweet member news. Is Randy Bell here? So Randy Bell is retiring from Bank Travel West and moving to Myrtle Beach. This Thursday, the Bank Travel West is hosting a drop-in starting at 5:30 at the Poinsettia Club. All of our members are invited to stop by and partake in food and beverages. We're sad to see Randy going, but he's on joining the Rotary Club in Myrtle Beach and has said that if anybody's going to be down there, we'd love to meet up with you. Contact him at randy.bell@yahoo.com. This is going to be a busy month for our club at Alexandria Elementary School. We're going to start on August the 9th, the afternoon of August the 9th, and the morning of August the 10th. And we're painting the staff toilets there. We've got a good number of people signed up. We can always use more. That's something that the teachers requested. On Wednesday, August the 14th, this is the week before school starts, when all the teachers are there getting ready for school to start. We're doing a cookout for them. So if you'd like to come and volunteer, have a chance to really talk to the teachers about the students around, that would be a great opportunity to do that from 11 to 1. And then on Saturday, August the 24th, between 8 and 10, we're going to be able to purchase, we're going to do the Happy Feet program. We'll be purchasing shoes for 50 needy students. We meet at the shoe department, which is by the Walmart on White Horse Road area. It's an independent shoe store. Still taking donations if you'd like to purchase a pair of shoes. It's $20 a shoe, which is kind of weird, but, or $40 a pair. Whatever, we'll take it. Next month, we started Alexander really thinking about the teachers, just how we really got involved there. Not only is a teacher's job very challenging, but being a teacher's job in really high poverty schools even more so, because they have to try to deal with children who are start school behind, get them caught up, but also deal with the family issues. So a lot of people provide us kids with school supplies. So next month during our meetings, we ask if you desire that you can bring some supplies for teachers. So they've asked for like Clorox wipes, hand sanitizers, boxes of tissues, and markers for their marker board, expo markers. So if you're so inclined to do that, it's also be in your newsletter. Please remember your cart buckets on your table, all the members from Alzheimer's research. We're going to thank all our visitors and guests. Mark, it's great to have you with us. Look forward to hearing over the next month what your plans are. Our next meeting will be August the 13th, and we'll have District Governor Rob Handley with us, who we're talking about Rotary for district as well as international and what's going on there. So at this time, let's stand up and adjourn the meeting by citing the four-way test. Of all the things you think, say, and do.
Oh, great. Thank you very much. Just seeing you at the Life Center. We're going early.
I'm still doing that noon thing and going to the bike class and all that stuff.
I tell you, it's her classes are good because I got to go. I sign up and you got to show up or they call and bitch at you. Yeah. Hey, thank you.
Sorry. I